Everybody is going to the physical gym, but nobody is going to the mental gym. Now, what is the mental gym? The mental gym is just like the physical gym, but rather than training to grow your biceps or grow your shoulders or grow your legs, you are training to grow your brain, to evolve your brain. Your body has muscles on it, and you do a specific exercise to train that muscle so that it becomes bigger, stronger, and more effective. In the same way, there's specific exercises that you can do to train specific areas within your brain to make those areas of your brain more effective. And so I will break down the individual brain areas and the benefits of training them. But first, I want to give you an example as to why it is so important, especially for guys that are, you're increasing your testosterone, you're becoming stronger in the gym, you're learning martial arts, so you're desperate to evolve and ascend the male dominance hierarchy, right? If you're doing all of these things, your desire to evolve and ascend the male dominance hierarchy is evident and clear. That's what you're trying to do. But in the modern day, it's much more effective to actually evolve your brain in order to ascend the dominance hierarchy, the male dominance hierarchy. It's just not as well known because it's not as visual. You don't see it. The effects aren't as clear. So it's hard for you to identify that as being one of the effective strategies. And just to give you a comparison to lions, for example, in lions, one of the primary traits that determines their position within the male dominance hierarchy, aka their female access, their confidence, their assertiveness, their resources, right? Because they're all the benefits of being at the top of the male dominance hierarchy, or all the correlations of being at the top of the male dominance hierarchy. If you're up there, you have all of those things, which is what every man is trying to chase when he's self-improving, when he's improving himself in any way. And so in lions, it's their physical prowess and their physical formidability that has one of the most significant impacts on their position in the male dominance hierarchy. Now, in humans, in the modern day, the equivalent of a lion's physical prowess and physical capacity is our verbal ability, our mental capacity. It's not our physical capacity because evidently in the modern day, it isn't useless, but it's not one of the most effective and essential traits, right? You could be the greatest fighter, the strongest guy in the gym, but you could still be nervous, shy at the bottom of the male dominance hierarchy. However, it's not going to be the opposite way around. If you're mentally sharp, you're extremely articulate, it's not going to be the case that you're going to be at the bottom of the male dominance hierarchy, even if you're weak and shit at martial arts, etc. And it's your ability to be articulate that's going to determine things like your confidence, that's going to determine things. But because when you're walking around, it's not your physical ability that's going to determine if you can navigate the environment that you're in. It's going to be your ability to articulate, an ability to think, that's going to determine your ability to navigate the environments that you are in, because it's a social world now. It's no longer in the forest and you come across another guy one to one and it's who can kill who. It doesn't work like that anymore. So it's switched from our physical capacity being the most important trait to our verbal ability, our ability to articulate, our ability to think, our ability to be mentally sharp, to be assertive. All of these important mental traits are significantly more important now. A lot of young men just don't understand this, nor do they see this, because it's just not a visual thing that you can see. It's an internal thing that you cannot see. You see, the gym's so attractive because it's a visual thing. You can see the effects, you can see the progress, you can see all of it. So it's extremely attractive and it's extremely trustworthy. Now, what is the name, you know, or what's the equivalent of The strongest lion, the lion with the highest amount of muscle mass, the lion that's the fastest, the most coordinated, the most aggressive. The equivalent of that for humans is the predator brain. Now, the predator brain is just a brain that has been evolved and trained so much that the specific areas within the brain have grown and adapted to produce the most optimal traits. For example, one of them being articulation. Now we're going to run through these brain areas and the list of traits. So here are the components of the predator brain. Firstly, we have the hypothalamus, which when trained produces emotional regulation in all territories. Secondly, we have the prefrontal cortex, responsible for composure during uncertainty and boredom, and responsible for thinking and decision making under pressure. Next is a multitude of individual brain areas that are trained by a singular exercise. And the benefit of all of these three brain areas being trained at the same time is that you become more articulate and precise with your speech, which as earlier was defined as the equivalent of a lion's physical capacity and physical prowess. So one of the most important traits for you in the modern day, if you're trying to ascend the male dominance hierarchy, if you're trying to become more confident, if you're trying to become more attractive, all of these things, this is more important. Articulation is more important than building a strong physique in the pursuit of those goals and desires that I just named. Next is another collection of individual brain areas, and it is the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, and the anterior cingulate cortex. The benefit of training these is the expression of your true intention due to reduced fear of external threats, pressures, and judgments. Another collection of individual brain areas is the hippocampus, the Broca's area, the prefrontal cortex, and the Wernicke's area. And the benefit of training these, doing the exercise to train these, is memory of previously digested information, aka it improves your memory. Another collection of individual brain areas, the amygdala, the anterior cingulate, and the insula. The benefits of training these is it reduces negative emotion during confrontation and conflict. Now that's a group of different brain areas and the benefits of training those different brain areas. Obviously there's more, and there is specific exercises you can do to train those brain areas to develop and grow the benefits and traits that I just mentioned that connect to the brain areas. Now, just to clarify, this isn't about, disregarding your physical ability, your gym, your testosterone, your martial arts in pursuit of the predator brain. No, because testosterone and health is important for adaptation. And so if you want to adapt quickly and grow your brain quickly, you want high testosterone, you want to be healthy to optimize the efficiency of adaptation. But it is just pointing to the fact that people that are chasing these muscular physiques, people that are doing martial arts, people that are doing these physical endeavors in order to climb the male dominance hierarchy, don't understand that pursuing and attaining the predator brain is a far more effective strategy to achieve all of those things than training your body. However, they're both good, and therefore you should do both. But it is important that you implement a mental gym into your daily routine the same way you have a gym routine to train your brain the same way you train your body and develop these vital traits.